Let's do this. Okay, so we are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest DSS break. I'm here with Adam, but at first we're actually going to just wait for just 1 minute until we dive in, until folks get here, because it takes a little bit of back lag. So we're going to just hang for a second, and we'll be right with you in just 1 minute. All right, so I think we could go ahead and kick this off. Welcome back again to the latest DSS break. I'm live here every Thursday to bring you the latest news and great interviews in a quick 15-minute break. I'm Anna Anderson, CEO and founder of Formulated By, the home of the Data Science Salon, and I'm streaming here live from our HQ at Formulated By and DSS in the heart of Miami, right next to the Design District. I'm very excited to welcome my guests today. Joining me is Adam Lieberman, head of AI and ML at Finastra. I'm very happy to have you with us today. Welcome, Adam. Maybe we can start by you telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this field.
Yeah, definitely. So I actually started off with a background in mathematics. And while I was studying, I was taking a little bit more of a theoretical route with courses like real analysis, abstract vector spaces, and abstract algebra. And really these underlying principles with these classes were interesting. They were really fascinating and taught me to think a little bit more creatively. And really kind of pushed me more towards an application focus of how can I use what I'm learning to get insight into more problems at hand in kind of a tangible manner. And this yearn, pushed me a little bit more towards computer science, where I could take these mathematical formulations of these problems and execute them as code and have them as automated programs that run. And towards the end of my math degree, I was really excited about algorithmic trading and leveraging computational statistics to help me trade in more of an automated approach. And that was kind of the premise of where my love and passion for finance and machine learning combined. And then I ended up actually entering a master's program in computer science with a focus in machine learning that really gave me a chance to explore and understand further the field and really all that data science had to offer. And then afterwards, I went on and tackled problems in healthcare, manufacturing, retail, did some things in entertainment and legal, solving the classical machine learning problems, but also stuff with natural language processing and computer vision. And presently, I'm the head of artificial intelligence and machine learning at Finastra, and I'm working with my amazing data science organization to strategize and productize these different machine learning-based solutions across our many different financial lines of business, from retail banking to lending, treasury and capital markets, to payments, and many more.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's definitely a really exciting place to be. I feel like it's kind of the, one of the fastest growing fields, right? So you definitely made the right choice. And I think finance, it's definitely, really, I think machine learning has really improved that industry, right? So, speaking of finance, maybe you could talk a little bit about how you see the future of machine learning and how it's impacting like financial industries, because I feel like one of the things that we see is bias. And I think that's like a really important part of the conversation right now too, right? How do we not, because you can really hurt somebody's life, right? By, having a bias and, an algorithm not approving them for like a home loan or something, right? So like maybe you could talk a little bit about that, and also what you're excited about too, right? I'm sure there's a lot of different things that are happening there.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, artificial intelligence and machine learning, in my opinion, are completely changing our financial landscape and really making a big splash in terms of, operations for, the front and back office. I think it's kind of a radical shift. We're seeing machine learning being used to solve some amazing use cases, like helping score the credit invisible, optimizing payment routes, score companies on their sustainability, even benchmarking financial institutions. And I think the list is really deep and really creative. And I definitely think there's a very bright future for artificial intelligence and machine learning in our financial system ecosystem. And, when it comes to bias, that's a really important topic. And it's something, as a machine learning engineer and a data scientist, that we really need to put in the forefront of our mind. Because when we're leveraging machine learning, we're using historical data to make predictions and gain insights about the future. And we need to understand, that model bias or algorithmic bias can occur, but it's not traditionally taught as part of the machine learning pipeline. Normally we're taught to, take our data, inspect it, pre-process it, generate features, try out a bunch of different model architectures, and get the best performing model. But rarely do we say that, hey, let's get the most fair model for our populations. So it's something that we really need to keep in the forefront of our mind, but it all goes back to the data. If we're dealing with biased data sets and we're not identifying this from the beginning, then, we're gonna have issues with our models. So I think that, we can do some really, really amazing things with artificial intelligence, but, when we're deploying models that are gonna affect people's lives, like you said, credit decisioning, and some of these very serious use cases, we need to have that model interpretability to understand, why models are making decisions, but then also craft, these metrics where we can evaluate the fairness. And, talking about bias and fairness, it's tough because there's not one definition of, is a model fair or not? It depends if it's an individual level, if it's a group fairness level, and, each problem has, a different definition. And often what we like to do is look, more for legal definitions. For example, if we were going to build, a loan approval model, we might go look at the CFPB, or, if it was around home mortgages, see if there's any specific rules that HMDA has around, governing data points or different attributes. And I think, touching on the point about, what I'm probably personally most excited about, I would say, some of the research that's going into natural language processing. Just thinking about daily life, we collect so much unstructured text data, even in finance and really across all these different industries, and really having the ability to scrape and utilize these massive multi-billion point data sets and build these models around them and transfer that knowledge to more specific tasks that we face in finance, I think is really interesting. And I think we're also seeing, really huge advancements in computational hardware, and that's, what's allowing us to train these massive models. And then, even thinking about them in terms of the architecture underlying them, how do we deploy these massive models when we have resource constraints, or how do we put them on edge devices or IoT devices that we want to use in finance? So I just find all the research that's going on with NLP to be really fun, and I'm really excited to see, how it progresses.
Cool. No, me too. We have, we actually host the NLP Summit. So, and that's actually grown so much in the last couple of years. And it's really exciting to see what actually, what use cases NLP is solving now, right? So, and in clinical, also in healthcare as well as finance. So it's awesome. No, cool. Thank you for sharing that. And I think the next question I had for you was about, it looks like you have some, great experience in building data science teams. What is the key element you look for when hiring and actually building your team? Because I'm sure, this is a conversation that always comes up really frequently at our events.
That's a great question. And data science is a huge field. It's really, really big. It spans not only really the traditional computational statistics side of things, where we're looking at understanding the inner workings of these different models and the architectures and, looking at the properties of data and distribution. But there's also, a huge software engineering component of it. Things like ETL and model deployment. And it really spans, working with different teams. We need to work with product teams and services to get, domain knowledge transfer. So that there's so many different hats that a data scientist can wear, but they also have to wear. And what I really look for when building out a team is curiosity, really a thrive to keep exploring, a passion for innovation. And it's very important to have these core machine learning skills, really understand the fundamentals, but also the ability and the eagerness to research and tackle new challenges and problems is something that I really love to see. And kind of as a more concrete example, if you've ever taken a machine learning model file, you do all the machine learning in your notebook, you run your experiments, and you end up with a cool model. But then how do you actually deploy it? If we have, data scientists or machine learning engineers that have never built, a fast API or endpoints around an API, or have never, deployed a model into a production environment or on a Kubernetes cluster, I found, data scientists who have an open mindset, and a general curiosity will not only be able to pick these things up really quickly, but they'll enjoy it. They'll add new skill sets that they'll be able to teach others as they progress. So really, to sum it up, I love to see curiosity and an eagerness to explore and innovate.
Cool. No, that's awesome. And for you, do you think domain knowledge is super important, or is that something that could be like quickly picked up? Because I've heard different from different folks as well.
Yeah, I really think it depends on the nature of the problem. I've seen in both cases where you can get by with not having that domain experience, but you're going to rely more on the product teams, to really understand the problem at hand, how to define it. When we're building these models, what are the kinds of features that a human domain expert would use to make these decisions? Because we want models to replicate humans. So, if you have, that domain experience, it's a huge plus in your industry. But, the beautiful thing about data science is these algorithms and these fundamentals are so universal that, the same algorithms that we're using in finance can be the ones we're using in healthcare and manufacturing. And having the domain experience is definitely a plus. But I do think, you can get by with working hand in hand with the domain experts.
Cool. No, yeah, I definitely agree. And do you have any advice for machine learning and AI practitioners in fintech?
Yeah, I think my advice would be, always keep an open mind, constantly explore, stay curious, and really, staying up to date, because the field evolves every single day. I'll tell my team that the first thing I do, my daily routine, is to grab a cup of coffee and then hit Reddit machine learning and look at the subreddit and just see what the latest and greatest is. Because the field moves so fast. There's so many new advancements, and you really do need to stay up to date with what's going on. And to explore the different ideas and approaches, maybe that are even a little bit more far-fetched, and really just think about, innovative ways that we can use machine learning and the latest research, with fintech and, across the different problems, services and products that you have kind of within the fintech space.
Right. So I guess my last question for you would be, other than Reddit, are there any other publications or anything, blogs that you like, kind of to keep up with everything? Or
I would say Reddit is probably kind of my segue to everything else. As far as blogs, I'll pull up Medium just kind of whenever I'm facing a new problem or I learn more about a new architecture. There's always, a great Medium post that gives a high-level overview of a new paper that's been published. So I would say, yeah, probably Medium is another big source for me, but Reddit is my primary.
Cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I think Reddit, it's definitely a place where news comes out first, for sure.
Yeah. And then it's nice to kind of be able to read through the comments to see, if it's an article or a paper that, is worth spending the time to start going through. Kind of get the sentiment along with it.
For sure. Yeah, they have a really strong community on there. So that's really awesome to see. So, that's all the time we have for today, Adam. It was really awesome to talk to you. And Adam is actually going to be speaking at the ML Ops Salon next month. So please catch him there. And thanks again, Adam, for joining us today. And a tiny plug, save the date. Our next DSS virtual event is coming up on July 12th. And we've actually teamed up with VentureBeat for Transform World. And we have an amazing speaker lineup. So I hope to see you guys there. And Adam, again, thanks so much. It was a pleasure. And I'm really excited about your talk at MLOps Salon on July 15th.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Alrighty. Bye, guys. Have a great rest of the week.
Bye, guys.